What's up, you guys? Welcome back to my channel. For today's video, I bought a very special co-star, aka my dad. So if you guys follow the family, you guys already know who my dad is. I did a video on how I was growing up with my mom. Sorry guys, my mom's in the background being a hater. So I made a video with my mom and my sister, basically talking about how it was growing up with my mom, asking her about her childhood and how it was when she was young. So you guys wanted one with my dad. I did want my sister to be in this video, but she wasn't able to make it, unfortunately, and I had this video scheduled for today, so I'm gonna have to figure out another video that we can do all three together. With that being said, I let you guys know on Instagram I was doing a video with my dad, and if you guys had any questions, for you guys to send me the questions. So here I have the questions, so you guys see I'm not lying, because people are always trying to accuse influencers of making up questions on their own. Okay, Dad, so let us know where you were born.
I was born in Guadalajara, Jalisco, Mexico.
How old were you when you came over to the United States?
I think I was about probably 9 or something like that, yeah.
Oh, okay. So you were like a little kid and then they brought you. Where did you guys move to when you guys moved to the United States?
We came straight into a little town called Carpinteria, California.
Okay.
Which is south of Santa Barbara. It actually belongs to Santa Barbara County. It's the last of Santa Barbara County.
Once you moved over here, did you miss Mexico as a kid?
Oh, I did.
Was it? So what was like a big change for you being from Mexico? You're already 9, so you kind of knew a little bit. You were about Josiah's age. Josiah's 9, my nephew, you guys. So like what was a big change for you, like a culture shock when you moved to the United States?
You know, coming over, there was so many things that were nice about coming to the United States.
And Dad, really quick, what year did you come to the United States? Just so they kind of get the feel of the vibe back then.
62, I believe, or 60.
Oh, so we're on all the 60s. Well, yeah. The 60s was a crazy era. Okay, so what would you say was like a big like maybe a culture shock or something that was really a big change for you?
It was everything. First of all, we didn't know the language, and then we find out that there was a lot of discrimination.
Oh, really?
I mean, bad.
Okay.
Carpinteria was a small town, but it was more agriculture. So that was still during the Bracero age. We came in with a green card. We didn't have to wait.
Because back in those days it was easy, right?
It was easy, yeah. We came in with our green cards and everything. So that was taken care of by my dad. Anyway, my dad was in charge of the Bracero camp in Carpinteria. It was called Aliso camp.
Wait, what's the Braceros? I think I heard of it, but I forgot what.
It was a program where Mexicans could ask for periods of working visas.
Okay.
So they come in for contracts of 3 months, 1 month, and then they go back to their families after that. And some of them stayed.
When you say that they go back to their families, like, do they go back to Mexico?
Yeah, Mexico.
Oh, so was it kind of hard growing up?
Even there was a lot of bullying.
Oh, really?
And you know, mainly from our own people that were already here, but our own people. I have really bad memories.
Okay, sorry to hear that, Pops. Yeah, I know. I mean, I heard that the 60s was kind of a tough time. Okay, Dad, so would you consider yourself were you were you a party animal when you were a teenager, or?
It was a different environment back in those days because we lived about 2 or 3 blocks away from the beach.
Okay.
So we were close to the beach. There's a big difference between partying in the big cities or on the beach.
Okay.
You know, big cities they used to dress different and all that, you know. Even though we did have a few our Hispanics back in those days, you know, the cholo look and all that. Yeah, we did.
Oh, okay.
You know, we had the surfers.
Okay.
And then we had the paisas, the Mexicans. You know.
Okay.
That was us.
And you were a teenager during what era? The late 60s?
Yeah, 60s to.
Okay.
Yeah, I was supposed to graduate from school the year 69.
Oh man,
Yeah.
that was a long time ago, Pops. You lived through the 60s, that's crazy. Now that I watch movies that are like based like on the 60s, I'm like, oh, my dad was a teenager in the 60s. That's so crazy. I never realized like how old my parents were till I think maybe like I got a little older.
Routinely, everyday deal we used to do to get ready for school. It wasn't only getting ready for school, it was getting our clothes ready for school, because back in those days, your shoes had to be shined every day.
Oh really?
Yeah.
So that was like the thing. That's how you would show up.
We used to wear those black, you know, like the Pachuco shoes.
I think I have a picture of you in them.
Yeah, so that was what you call a spit shine and all kinds of, everybody was doing all kinds of shoe shining, but they looked, I mean, the best, you know. And then on top of that, the grease on your hair.
Oh, okay. The grease was in the hair was back.
Yeah,
like
in those days, it was the 3-flower Vaseline.
Oh, I think I've seen it in the store before.
Yeah.
Okay.
And school, you know, all shining and all greased up and everything, you know.
And you know what's funny, you guys? My dad has 4 sisters and he's the only boy, you guys. I asked my mom how you and her met, but I want to hear like your recollection of it. So how did you meet my mom?
Actually, I was a good friend of her cousin.
Her cousin, okay.
His name was Rudy, may he rest in peace. Anyway, and her cousins, Rudy's sisters, you know, we lived across the street.
Was my mom living in the United States already?
Yeah.
Okay.
She was. She came, and she was living with her cousins.
Okay.
And that's how I met her.
Oh, okay. So like, did you like just like, did you approach her and was like, hey, can I have your number? Or like, how did you like approach her? Do you remember?
I think that it was more of an introduction by her family. Is like, you know, she likes you. And,
oh, so they told you that she liked you.
Yeah. And that's how it all started.
So you didn't like, so you didn't holla first. She's the one that said that she liked you first.
Yeah, she was the one that started it.
Oh,
she changes the whole story.
Okay. I would ask her, but if I ask her, she's gonna freak the fuck out and she's gonna ruin this video. So let's not do that. How long were you and my mom like boyfriend and girlfriend for? Before you guys got married? Do you know?
Probably 2 years or 3, something like that.
2 to 3 years. Okay. How old were you when you guys had my sister, Marbella?
I was 27.
27. Okay. And how old were you when you had me? So,
I was like 31 or 32 when you
no,
were
because
born.
my mom was 35 when she had me, so you had to have been older than her.
I was 39.
You were 39. See, guys, it's never too late. My dad was 39. And what about, what's your favorite memory with me?
You really want to say that one? So you used to follow me everywhere.
Okay.
And you must have been about 2.5 or 3 years old. And you always had your bottle with you. It was going to be on a Thanksgiving day. We used to live in La Puente. And everywhere I went, you following me. Somebody was cooking the spices for the pumpkin pie. I think your mom was. The chimney had a portable propane. We had to go buy tanks.
Okay.
And it was getting cold back then. I bought some propane and brought it in and connected it, and then went inside to light it up. And stupid me, I didn't notice that
the gas was on?
the gas was open. I don't know, I opened it, but the inside was open already.
Yeah.
So by the time I went into the house got full of propane, and I couldn't smell it because the spices that they were
it was too
cooking
strong. Yeah.
they were over the propane. When you lit up, you don't remember that? You remember that?
I remember.
I lit up, and there was an explosion. Even the furniture, when the explosion happened, everything just went up like an earthquake. And the good thing that day you didn't get close to me. You stood like on a hall, you know, and that's what protected you. But if you remember, my sleeves, everything was burned from my sleeves out, and my beard and my eyeballs and everything, it looked like somebody had shaven everything off.
Oh my God, that's how bad
And you were laughing your butt off. You were that little, you know, when you
I've always been evil. I was laughing at you, Dad.
And when you saw me, you were cracking up, you know. And I was scared because that was, you know, what if something would have happened to you?
Oh, it's okay,
If you would
Dad.
have, you know.
We live though, we live.
But anyway, that's a memory.
Wow, I only remember a little bit.
We've talked about that
I think
before,
it's because you always told me that story growing up, so I always like remember it because you've always told me that. Okay, so Cassie wants to know, did your dad let you have boyfriends or was he overly protective? So I feel like my dad, he wasn't like your typical like Mexican dad. I feel like my dad was strict when it came to school. Like my dad wanted me to do good in school. He always expected me to come with like good grades, which unfortunately, sorry I didn't, Dad, because I hated school. But you kids stay in school, but me, I just was not a big fan of school. But when it came to boys, my dad would just tell me like, be careful, like don't make the same mistake your sister did. Well, because my sister got pregnant as a teenager. Right, Dad? You weren't like super overprotective with me with...
Don't let anybody take advantage of you.
Yeah.
Or make a joke out of you. Because, you know, love yourself. You're worth more than anything else. And I tell that to everybody. We all have the right to be happy and taste love, but everything has to be with its limit.
How tall are you, Dad?
6'4".
6'4". And my grandpa was tall too, huh? So tall
he
people
was 6'4" also.
Yeah, tall people run in my family, Dad. I mean, guys, that's why I'm tall. My mom's short though. But I get my tallness from my dad. I'm like 5'5" and a half. I'm almost 5'6". But my sister Marbella is like 5'8". So
we have relatives. There are 6'7" and 6'8".
So
Villaseñor. As a matter of fact, her last name is what? Her real last name is what?
So basically, you guys, the story is, our real last name is Villaseñor, but obviously my name is Monique Villa, and my dad's Rafael Villa, but our real last name is Villaseñor. Like all my cousins, my tias and my tios are Villaseñor except for like us. Basically, when my grandpa came to the United States,
they registered him as Villa instead of Villaseñor, because when they said what is his last name, they said Villa Señor, and they thought that the Señor was on account of the sir.
What do you think was like something you struggled with Marbella, and what's something that you struggled with me like as teenagers?
I don't think Marbella liked school as much as I thought she did, and I think that she would see us, your mom and I, fighting so much that she couldn't concentrate on studying. So, and that's probably what happened to you when you were little. But it was a good thing that your mom and I separated at an early age, because at your early age, and at the beginning of junior high and in high school, you weren't really causing any big problems or anything like that.
Yeah, I was a pretty good kid, I'd say.
You were.
It says, okay, so it says, what did you guys most enjoy doing together?
I think that, well, at least me, when the twins were growing up and Monique, we used to do a lot of things together, like camping. We used to go all over the place, Santa Cruz.
I think one of my favorite memories with my dad was when I was like really little, with him and my mom still together. And well, my dad would kind of take me on his own, and we would go to the lake. That was our thing, me and my dad.
The river.
We'll go to the river together.
It was like San Joaquin River.
Yeah, so I remember being like 6 years old, and like me and my dad would go to the lake like every week, and we would just go it would just be me and him. Like, we would go to the lake and we'd just chill. Since my mom and dad were separated after that, my dad would pick me up on the weekends, and like my weekends were lit with my dad because my dad always had something planned out for us. So that I feel like that's why I could only date a guy who's like gonna take me out and show me a good time, because like my dad always had stuff planned out for us, like for the weekend. He would take us out to eat. I remember we would go to like the buffet. Like, oh my god, the buffet was like mine and the twins' favorite.
And then we used to go to the swap meet.
We used to go to the swap meet.
Okay, there's different swap meets over in Fresno.
Yeah, so we're originally from Fresno, so we go to like the Cherry. We'd go to Selma. And we go to the fairgrounds. We'll go to the fairgrounds sometimes. The fairgrounds wasn't as poppin' as Selma and Cherry. Also, you guys, it's not really a good memory. As many of you guys know, I don't know how to swim. But my dad, he's a good swimmer. My dad has always been a good swimmer. And my dad actually saved my life before. When I want to say I was like 10 or so. I was like 10 or 11. It was. No,
you were younger than that.
You think so? I think I was probably like 9 or 10. I'm not sure.
I think you were about 9 or 10. Yeah.
I was like 9 or 10, and I don't know why I thought it would be a good idea to put like the floaties that you put on your arms. I basically put them on my legs. So I thought, because without floaties you can just float, so I thought that my legs would just float and I could just float like that, like, you know. Well, no, apparently if you put it on your legs, you basically just go straight down. Your whole body goes down. Your head goes down, and there's no way that you could like come back up, because your feet is what's floating. And that's the most idiotic thing I could do and I've ever done in my whole life. Anyways, I was drowning, you guys, and my dad had to come save me. So basically my dad jumped in with everything, his clothes on, his phone, everything, and he jumped in to save me. So if it wasn't for my dad, like I legit wouldn't have made it that day. Like, he literally saved me. It was, do you remember that day, Dad? Oh
yeah, that was my company's cell phone that got messed up. You know those big old phones? Yeah. They were big. Those phones were big, and well, Christina was there with you. Yeah. But I don't know what happened. She was looking someplace else when you were drowning.
Yeah. Oh, Christina is my half sister, guys.
And Christina, I don't know why she was supposed to be watching you. Yeah. And all of a sudden I looked and I see you struggling. Yeah. And I just jumped in, and but yeah, there goes the cell phone.
Yeah, Dad, sorry, your cell phone. Dude, and back in the days, those freaking phones were this fat. A cell phone was like this fat back in the days.
Yeah, it was big.
So like, what do you think you liked about my mom when you first met her? Or during your guys' relationship when you were happy? Like, what is it that you liked about her or loved about her? When you guys were happy, not when, you know?
I guess everything, you know, when you fall in love, you just go, oh, you know. But don't let that fool you. No.
But tell me details. Like, what is it that you liked about her, loved about her? at the time?
I guess she was beautiful. Like,
She was beautiful?
Yeah.
You told me my mom was skinny back then, right?
She was very.
You said she was skinnier than me.
Yeah. No, she had a world's figure.
What is it that like made you want to build a life with her at the time?
You know, to tell you the truth, I never thought about that. That's when you think you're in love and you don't care of anything else, you know.
So, was my mom like fun back then? Like when she was young, like was she fun? Cause my mom comes from like a little town. You guys are very religious. Everyone gets married a virgin. Like, so, and my dad, he was like basically Americanized. And I feel like here in America, back in those days, like they were a little more like...
More liberal.
More liberal. Crazy. And you know, my mom was just very cutthroat, very conservative. She was very conservative.
Yeah.
Okay, so hopefully she doesn't come attack us both because she's in the back watching TV. So hopefully we don't see a shoe flying or something. Would you guys go out dancing and stuff?
Yeah.
Like,
yeah, I'm a musician, you know.
Oh, my dad was in a band back in the 70s,
so
you guys.
I owned the band.
So my mom was rolling with the band then?
Contracts all over the place. We were named Los Prófugos de Carpintería.
Oh, that was
We alternated with a lot of groups like Los Freddy's, Los Muecas.
Lorizzo wants to know, does my mom's words get to you?
I know, I'm used to. Well, I'm used to that already.
You're used to it?
Yeah.
So they don't get to you. Okay, that way no one feels sorry for you, Dad. Because I be feeling bad for you sometimes. Even though everyone says you deserve it, but... How do you feel about only having girls, Dad?
Great. To me, girls give less headaches than boys in a way. Yeah, I like to have the boy figure, you know, all the men want a son.
Yeah.
I'm not saying I don't. Yes, I did. But you know what? Girls... The only thing the biggest problem they can bring you is surprising you with a baby, no father, but that's about it. That's just making the family bigger.
Yeah, you know, my dad never said nothing about, oh, I wish I had a boy instead. Like, my dad never said that. Like, my dad has always been very supportive of, like, me and my sister. He does say that he might have a son out there somewhere. I don't know, he might. So if I have a brother out there, let me know. Send me the DNA test first. It says, was your dad strict about what you wear? My dad wasn't strict about the way I dressed at all. I mean, I don't think I dressed that bad, but I don't know. My dad wasn't very like jealous like that. I mean, like I said, he just wanted me to do good in school.
You know, I've always tried to show off my kids, and I think girls, you know what, if you have a pretty figure and you have it, show it, but up to a certain point.
Yeah.
You know, there's a nice classy way of showing your body, and if you have it, show it. What the heck, you know, that's what God gave it for.
You know, sometimes guys, Dad, they're dumb and they be messaging me like, who's gonna take you serious? Not that I believe them, because I don't. They're full of shit. But they'll be like, who's gonna take you serious with the way you dress? What do you think about that?
Well, there's different types of thinking,
men, right?
Of men.
But there's men that do like their girls to dress sexy, right?
Look, Fernando, Ramiro, and I can name a few more out there.
Yeah.
You know, and me, I've always liked to show off your mom.
Yeah, like you, but you don't mind your girl to dress like
back in those days,
stuff, right?
The miniskirt was on, you know, and
would my mom wear miniskirts back then?
Oh yeah.
What?
She had one thing. Your mom had legs.
My mom had legs.
Oh yeah, and she had a waist that I could probably hold.
She could hold it up so that they could see the
her waist was about like that. You know, I could almost reach it with my.
Well, you can almost go like that.
Yeah.
Okay, my waist is definitely not that small.
And some big legs.
Yeah. Oh, cause guys, you know, a lot of
Latino
men.
We like
Thick legs.
Yeah.
So someone wants to know, how did your parents treat you?
My mom was great. My mom, I couldn't wish for any better mom than her. My dad, we had a great communication after I left home and everything, because he used to treat me.
Would you guys bump heads a lot?
It wasn't so much that, it was that I was a troublemaker.
Oh, so you're bad.
I was a troublemaker, so.
What would you get in trouble for?
He was very aggressive as far as, you know, back in those days they believe a lot in whipping.
Oh yeah, so you used to get whipped back then, huh?
Oh, I used to whip my ass, but I never listened, you know. So finally I took off. I was 16.
You were 16?
16, yeah. I took off. I ran away from home, and I went to San Jose, California.
Oh, I didn't know you lived in San Jose for a little bit.
Yep, and it was a friend of mine, one of my best friends, as a matter of fact. Hello to Raul.
Shout out Raul.
And we both took off because we were ditching, and our parents found out that we were ditching, and so we ran away to San Jose, California, and I got a job over there at the city dump back in those days, 1968, 67. We ended coming back, but not because we came back. They went looking for us.
Oh, they did?
Yeah, my mom.
In San Jose?
My mom and his brother, and they found us. I had already rented a house and everything.
Oh my God, Dad, you were doing it big at 16.
Yep. I learned how to drive a bulldozer at that age.
And that was your hustle?
And you know, they thought I was older.
How long were you living out there for? Or was it just
quick? It was just months. Yeah, months. I'll tell you something important thing was, when we took off for San Jose, we ran out of money.
You guys ran out of money? So you guys went to San Jose with no money?
No, we had money, but we ran out of money. You know, haven't had a job yet. Our guts were making all kinds of growling and making all kinds of noise because we hadn't eaten in like 2 days, and we had our last. I don't know. It was just enough to get to go inside the theater. And I remember they were showing a movie of Pedro Infante called A Toda Máquina. And Raul goes, "Hey, let's go inside." You know, and I go, "Are you kidding me? That's all we have." And he goes, "Yeah, but you know what? We could eat leftover popcorn." And that's all we ate.
No, Pops.
Yep. It was so hungry.
I did not know this story.
Yeah, we were so hungry that he was pretty sharp, you know. He's like, "No, we got enough, you know, just to go inside, but we can eat a lot of popcorn, a lot of leftovers."
Forget the movie. You guys he just wanted to go and eat because you guys
were hungry. We sat down and ate and saw the movie, but we were eating all the leftover popcorns that people left.
Oh my God, Pop.
We were looking under the seats and all that, you know. There was a lot of popcorn. Believe me, we had our bellies full. Everybody's going, "You were eating popcorn, somebody else." Yeah, when you're hungry,
you gotta do what you gotta do, Dad.
Yeah.
You know what I will say about my dad? He got caught. He was, not only is he a player with women, but he's a sweet talker to the women in his family, because my dad just got caught not too long ago. Basically, whenever I talk to my dad, he would always tell me like, "Mija, you're the prettiest one out of everyone, and just don't tell nobody because then they're gonna get jealous." My dad would always tell me that, and one day I had my dad on speaker, and my dad was like, "Oh, Mija, you're so beautiful, like you're the prettiest one out of all of them, but don't tell anyone because then they get jealous." And Brittany, the twin, was actually next to me, and she's like, "Tell Papa I said he's a liar because he told me the same thing and he told me not to tell anyone." And then I was like, "See, Dad, you tell everyone this." And then my sister finds out, and then my sister's like, "What? My dad tells me the same thing." And then we talked to Brianna, the other twin, and she's like, "Papa Papa tells me the same thing. So I'm like, dude, he tells the same thing to all of us. I get it. He's trying to make us feel like special in all our little different ways. But yeah.
But you're all special.
I've actually asked my dad this in the past because I just wanted to know, like, because my dad, you know, you guys know my dad. Sorry, Dad, but he's a cheater. So I have to express myself. So I have to express myself like that about you. But okay, basically what I want to ask you, nothing that he's gonna say is gonna make it excusable, you guys. But I think everyone wants to know, why do you think you cheated on my mom? Like, why did you feel like you couldn't just leave and be like, this is not gonna work out, I don't want to be with you? Like,
I think in a way I was afraid of leaving you guys, and on the other hand, I was ready to jump out.
okay.
You know.
So
you guys were holding me in a way, and on the other hand, I was trying to just, you know, bail out.
So you felt like you wanted to leave, but you didn't know how.
I felt like I wanted to leave, but I couldn't leave you guys behind.
Okay.
You know.
Well, did you feel like because it was gonna rip the family apart?
Yes. Yeah, a lot to do with that. Yeah. But once we make a mistake, you know, we don't realize, and that goes to all of the other guys that think they can be Casanovas out there. It's hard. It's a big step. Before you take any step, think about how much harm you're gonna do to the whole family. But then on the other hand, there's no reason to be miserable and make everybody miserable. So the best thing to do is just pack up and vámonos.
Okay, so what do you think that like ripped you guys apart? Like what, like do you think that it was maybe like the way you guys grew up? Because you were like raised basically in the United States and she was raised in Mexico, so you guys were kind of...
You don't have to be raised in a different country or a different town or anything like that. I'm a very loving and touching person. And you all know that. And your mom is she's very dry. She's not loving at all. You know, that's a way of being.
Mm-hmm. So you feel like she wasn't very affectionate.
So when you start feeling lack of love, there is something wrong with the relationship. And I think,
do you feel she was loving a little bit when you guys were boyfriend and girlfriend? Or do you think you just realized it like later?
I realized that later.
Okay, so she was always like that. You just didn't realize it till later.
Exactly.
Okay.
I mean, look at you guys are her daughters, and you know she's not very cariñosa.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah. Growing up, my dad was always like the affectionate one with us. My mom was more like, I think it's the way she was raised. I feel like that's why she was like that. You know, my mom came from a big family. I think she came up from a family of like 11. So I feel like her parents couldn't show her love and affection, especially like the way she grew up back then. I feel like people weren't very affectionate back then, or just maybe it was just her parents. I don't know. So I feel like maybe that's why it was hard for her to show you, but I get where you're coming from. And I don't want nobody to be mad at my dad for saying this, because I'm the one asking him, and this is how he feels, regardless if it's right or wrong. You know, this is how he feels, guys. So I guess kind of like, because my dad was a player, whenever I'm dealing with someone that I feel is a player, I can talk to my dad like as a man, you know, and tell him like, Dad, what do you think? And basically my dad will give me the rundown, and like, it doesn't matter that he's like older, like it plays out exactly how he said it was going to play out, or, you know. So I feel like whenever I'm going through it, or like I'm going, like maybe I'm talking to a player, which I shouldn't or whatever, you know, my dad always gives me good advice. So I always come to my dad when it comes to man advice, just because he used to be a player, like he knows what's going on. Times don't change, you guys. So just wanted to add that.
Trucker.
And he was a trucker, guys. So truckers are like the worst. They're known.
Not all of them, but we do have a reputation, you know.
And Dad, why do you think most men cheat? Like, what do you think?
I think that I don't think they cheat because they don't have enough love at home. Some of them just cheat because they were born cheaters. But some other ones, different type of situations, you know.
So you think it's different situations? You don't think it's just one specific one?
No. I think that some of them cheat because they love to cheat. They were born cheaters. In my case, I think it's genetic.
Because my grandpa was a cheater too, huh? Well, yeah. You know what's very interesting? That my grandpa had a child out of wedlock. And my dad also had a child out of wedlock. So I feel like you did turn out just like my grandpa, Dad. So right now, you and my mom are just like, are you guys friends right now, or are you guys not friends right now? Because you guys be fighting every other day.
Even though, you know, we're just friends. That's it, you know.
So you guys are not mad at each other. You guys are cool right now.
Yeah.
Okay. My dad actually brought my mom over here, so they must be cool. Because that would have been a bad ride over here.
Yeah. Well, we were arguing on the way over, and I finally said, you know, hey, let me concentrate on the driving, because.
You couldn't concentrate, Dad?
No, she just kept blah 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 blah. We can't talk about anybody else. Even if we talk about somebody else, you know what? You know that so and so lost his wife, and well, yeah, he deserves it because he was such a
that's
cheater
my mom.
and all
That's
that.
my
You know?
mom.
I go, you know, why can't you talk about something else? Every time you have to bring the old wounds, and you know.
Someone wants to know what's the best advice my dad has ever given me. I think one of the best advices that my dad has always given me is, and you know what's funny, like my mom growing up, my mom would always say like, eres igual a tu chingado padre. And I never understood like, why did she say that about me until I got older, and then I kind of understanding how me and my dad like are a lot alike. So I remember like whenever I would go through it, I would call my dad and I would tell him like, I would tell him the situation, and then I'd be like, I regret it so bad, Dad. I regret it. I wish I never did it. And my dad would always tell me, like whenever I tell him stuff like that, like he always tells me like, don't ever regret what you enjoyed doing at that time. Like you enjoyed doing it at that time and you thought it was gonna make you happy and it didn't work. And now just move forward. Now you know not to do it again. But don't ever regret something that you did in the past. Like now you just move forward from it.
Like any other thing, you know, yeah, sometimes you do regret your mistakes, you know, but it's just like if you get into any kind of business, buying used cars or selling, you know, and you get burnt, you lose money on one, don't ever regret it. Just keep going. Look ahead. Don't look back. That's what my dad used to tell us. And in case of a love affair or whatever, you know.
Mine is usually like love affairs when I'm calling them, going through it.
You make mistakes, but you learn from. It wasn't in vain. Every mistake you make and every bump you hit is not in vain. You have to learn something from it.
Yeah. He always tells me that, and don't think that my dad just lets me run wild and, you know, just like, oh, well, like, you know, you did it already, forget it. No, he'll tell me what you did was wrong, or, okay, you maybe could have seen that coming. Like, my dad will definitely tell me that I'm wrong, or, you know, but he always makes sure to tell me, like, at the end, like, don't regret it. Like, it's something that you did, learn from it, you know, learn from your mistakes. So I feel like that's why now, that's like when things like happen to me that are bad or that I think are bad, I try not to dwell on it so much. I always remember my dad in the back of my head, like, don't regret it. Like, you did it already, learn from it, and just move forward.
Just get up, go like this, and keep walking forward.
that is it for today's Q&A with my pops, you guys. Hopefully I could do an updated one in the future with my sister. That way we could include her in it as well. Me and my dad have a couple videos coming for you guys. So he actually, for those of you guys who don't know, I've mentioned it in my other video before. When I was little, I was about 5 years old. My parents used to sell churros at the remate, at the swap meet.
At Orosis.
Yes, we would.
Orosis, California. It's a little town. And we used to sell churros at night. On the weekends.
Yeah.
We had a catering truck that was made especially to make the churros. But we used to sell churros, and there you were smaller than 5 years old because you still had a bottle.
Oh yeah, I remember going though.
And
I remember going. I was probably like 4, but I still remember going, and we would go at night. And I remember. And
that was back in. So you were like 4 or 5 years old, but you still had your bottle.
Yeah, I had my bottle, and I remember my parents would have me on the little window, and they would have me screaming like, churros, churros.
Yeah, you barely talk, but you used to get out there and on the window of the catering truck, and you would start yelling, churros, 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 and then you'd be sucking on your
on my
baby,
teta.
Yeah, and Marbella was helping us make churros.
Oh, Marbella was a teenager back then.
Yeah, she was the cashier. I was making the churros, and
my parents would actually make them homemade, you guys. They were not like the little freaking frozen ones that are nasty that you buy at the swap meet now. My parents would actually make the dough from scratch.
That was the recipe was given to me by my cousin. He showed me how to work everything and gave me the recipe. Which that recipe, they paid for it back in those days.
Oh, really?
They paid somebody for the recipe.
Oh, dang.
Back in Guadalajara. We left there because it was too far.
Yeah, it was pretty far.
From Fresno. And then they stopped all the catering trucks from selling.
Oh, they did?
Yeah. You couldn't find, back in, what was it, 95 or 96? You couldn't find a catering truck selling tacos or anything. They stopped for about a year.
Oh, really?
Yeah, and that's when we quit.
Yeah, guys, so me and my dad are gonna bring back the recipe. So we're gonna do a churro recipe for you guys, and everything's gonna be homemade, you guys. We're gonna make homemade churros. So I'll let you guys know when we start recording that. And my dad, he's a good cook too. So I actually learned cooking from my mom and my dad. They're both very good cooks. So I'm going to be doing more recipes with my dad. Let me know in the comment section what other videos you guys would like to see me do with my dad, or maybe even include my mom.
I suggest you guys get ready with your churro maker for that recipe, because you're gonna need a little churro maker. I don't care what size. There's all kinds of different ones. There's homemade ones. But just be ready with your churro maker, because this churro recipe is different from all the ones I've seen in YouTube. You know, most of them, they claim that there's nothing but water and flour. And no, there's other ones that beat that.
So you guys have to watch our video so we can show you guys our recipe. Thank you guys so much for watching. And thank you to everyone who participated in sending me questions. Thank you, Pop, for coming out in my video.
Hey, thank you for having me.
Don't forget to hit the like button. Don't forget to hit the subscribe button. And thank you guys so much for watching Mo Money's channel. Thanks, Pop.